welcome to the Crossroads. I'm your host, Angela Rajniganda. So today I want to talk about menstruation because in our modern world, so many of us view our periods as nothing more than a painful annoyance, something inconvenient, something you just have to deal with, and often it's talked about even like it's taboo or gross. But in ancient cultures, menstruation, and especially menstrual blood, was considered sacred. It wasn't treated like a curse or something disgusting or painful or inconvenient. It was celebrated as a manifestation of the woman's connection to the earth and the cycles of nature and the cycles of life. And as a society, I think we've forgotten just how powerful that this perspective can be. Your period is not just this monthly interruption and inconvenience. It's this beautiful, beautiful gift. And nature has literally blessed women with this ability to live according to this very sacred, eternal cycle. And whether you realize it or not, your cycle connects you to your deepest feminine wisdom and to your ancestors and to the rhythms of nature itself. Even just biologically, we can see this connection everywhere. The phases of the moon affect the ebb and flow of the tides on Earth. The gravitational pull of the moon affects all bodies of water, and the human body is made primarily of water, so it makes sense that the moon would influence us too. From ancient times, humans recognized this connection between the moon's cycles and the nature of women's menstrual cycles. Traditionally, women would ovulate around the time of the full moon and begin menstruating around the time of the new moon. And this is why so many cultures throughout history and throughout time referred to menstruation as a woman's moon time. And this moon time was not viewed as weakness. In many cultures, menstruating women were considered sacred and powerful and with heightened intuition and increased psychic abilities. And this time of the month was traditionally seen as a source of intense spiritual power. And this was sometimes feared, but also sometimes honored. But either way, it was recognized as something very, very potent. Menstrual blood itself was considered one of the most sacred substances in early cultures because this was the only kind of blood that wasn't linked to death or violence or injury. It was linked to the potential for new life. It was linked to creation. And if you look across mythologies, this theme shows up again and again. Many creation myths follow this idea that menstrual blood was the source from which the entire world and humans were created. Women have always been connected to the act of creation, and not just physically through childbirth, but spiritually. Women are powerful. Women are so connected, and there's something very, very tribal about it as well. Even today, we still see this reflection in the way that women's bodies respond to one another. Women who spend a lot of time together will often notice their cycles syncing up. Their bodies literally start to align with one another. And your cycle doesn't just connect you to other women, in the present, but it connects you to your female ancestors as well. This connection goes back generations. The egg and cells that eventually became you already existed inside your mother while she was just a fetus inside your grandmother's womb. So in a very, very real way, your cycle is part of this unspoken lineage, and your body carries a living thread of this ancestry, which is why I believe it is vital that we learn to honor, embrace, and celebrate this time of month for us. Because if we continue to perceive menstruation as a curse, if we project that hatred onto our bodies, if we dishonor ourselves as women, we will continue to suffer. We will continue to see menstrual pain and discomfort as normal, and we will continue to struggle with reproductive and gynecological issues, and we'll keep reinforcing this relationship with our own bodies that is based in shame. And this isn't about pretending that your period just feels amazing every month, and it's not about like forcing yourself to love your menstrual cramps, and it's just about shifting the energy around menstruation, because your body hears you, and your womb hears you, your nervous system hears you. And now, another part of menstruation that I think is really important to talk about is a girl's first period. A girl's first period is a beautiful rite of passage into womanhood. And this has been honored in countless cultures throughout history. And now, obviously, most young girls are not emotionally mature enough to have children. And I'm not saying that menstruation equals motherhood, but what a first period does represent is this transition. It marks the moment that she enters into a new phase of her life. Her body is now prepared to take part in this divine creation of life. And it's really magical when you really think about it, that a woman's womb becomes a literal portal capable of bringing souls in from the other side into this physical reality. And that's not metaphorical, that's pretty literal. A woman is the only being strong enough to house this powerful of a portal and to usher souls in from the other side onto earth, into this physical reality. And that deserves to be honored. So if you're a parent or if you're someone who just wants to help heal this cultural wound around menstruation, one beautiful thing that you can do is to celebrate a girl's first cycle in a way that feels very supportive and empowering for her. One option to do that is a first period party. Sometimes this can be called red tent gatherings or moon parties, and basically it's just a celebration held to honor this beautiful rite of passage for a girl's first menstrual cycle. And it directly confronts the stigma around periods by treating them as something worthy of celebration. And it doesn't have to be this great big huge event. It can be if that's what you want. Or it can just be a small gathering with close friends, or it can be a bigger celebration with family. You can do a sleepover, you can do a dinner party. There's really no official structure to this. The whole point is simply to make your daughter feel loved and seen and special as she goes through this beautiful transition. But the most important thing before planning anything is making sure she actually wants it. Periods are very personal, and it's her body, not yours, so she might not want a room full of people talking about her period, and in that case, you respect that. But if she is excited about this idea, then you really make it fun and memorable, and some things you can do. You can do like a theme of, all red foods, for instance, like red velvet cake and cranberry juice, mocktails, or pomegranate juice, strawberries, raspberries, cherries. Hibiscus tea is a good one. And honestly, it doesn't have to be red themed. It can just be her favorite foods. It can be decorations, red balloons, red streamers, or moon-shaped decor. Anything that just makes it feel special for her. And you can also do activities that make this feel like a really true rite of passage. Maybe you can do flower crowns, or everyone can dress up, or maybe you can create a small altar dedicated to womanhood with candles and crystals and goddess imagery and flowers and even photos of the female ancestors. And it's always good to spend time in nature. You could sit outside underneath the moon. You could do a bonfire. You could set up tents. You can go camping. You could set up tents in the backyard, spend time under the moonlight. Another fun thing is you can make period kits together for the bathroom or for the car, for her purse, her backpack, her locker, wherever it is, so that she feels prepared and supported, moving forward. And, a first period party can really be whatever you want it to be. It doesn't need to follow a template or use any of these ideas, but it should reflect your daughter's personality and her preferences. That's really the whole point, so that she feels celebrated. Another beautiful tradition that I love is making a moon basket. A moon basket is basically just a care package or gift basket that you prepare for your daughter to celebrate her first period. And it can include practical things like pads or tampons or panty liners, menstrual cup, period underwear, things like that. And then also comfort items like a heating pad or a water bottle. And things you can kind of cozy up with too, like soft pajamas, slippers, blankets, and treats like chocolate and candy. And you can include a journal or books, movies, pampering items like bath bombs and lotions and oils. You can make it as simple as you want or as extra as you want. whatever feels right in your situation. And it's really just about creating that feeling of comfort and support and like you're really cared for and giving her the sense that she's entering into something truly sacred. For example, with my daughter, when I made her moon basket for her first period, I made it entirely moon themed. I included a pair of moon and star print pajama pants and moon slipper socks and a moon and star blanket, a journal that had moon and stars on the cover, and a book about period and menstruation that from a spiritual perspective, and then also a little essential oil bottle roller for PMS relief, and then also organic feminine hygiene products, and also a big bouquet of red flowers. And it was such a simple thing, but it was so much fun, and it made the experience just really, really fun and meaningful for her. And another cool thing about my daughter's first period is that she got her very first period on a blood moon, which I thought was just the coolest thing, and how special and sacred is that. Now, whether you're celebrating your daughter or you're a grown woman watching this and you just want to begin reconnecting with your own cycle, it is never too late to start honoring your sacred menstrual cycle. And there are so many ways that you can do this. Many people believe that menstruation is a time of heightened intuition. So it can be a powerful time to journal, to meditate, to keep a dream journal, pay attention to your dreams around this time. And it can also just be a time when you listen to yourself more closely, really allow yourself to slow down and turn inward and really connect with your intuition. You can also use this time to gather with female friends or family members with a monthly moon circle or something like that. You can spend time in nature, spend time outside under the moon, like I mentioned. You can create a monthly altar dedicated to your cycle, to womanhood, to your ancestors, to the triple goddess, the mother, the maiden, the crone. And you can also support your body physically too, by eating nourishing food, staying hydrated, prioritizing rest. And you can give yourself permission to self-pamper too. Take a bath, get a massage, do whatever helps you feel cared for. And you can also just give yourself some quiet time alone, because menstruation is often a very natural time of self-reflection. And I want to talk about something that I think is really interesting, and honestly is really empowering. And that's the idea of paying attention to which moon cycle your period aligns with. So these 4 phases are called the red, white, pink, and purple moon. And these phases of the moon, these symbolize different ways a woman's cycle can flow with the phases of the moon. And so, for an example, if you have a red moon cycle, this means that you bleed around the time of the full moon and you ovulate around the time of the new moon. Traditionally, women with this moon cycle, with the red moon cycle, were associated with healers and shamans and wise women, priestesses and magic makers, witches, and they were believed to channel creative energy outward. In ancient times, these women that bled with the red moon cycle were often labeled as dangerous or evil, dark witches, which honestly says more about society at the time than it does about them. And I myself very often bleed with the red moon cycle. And now if you have a white moon cycle, this is when you bleed around the time of the new moon and ovulate around the time of the full moon, the exact opposite. This is considered to be the cycle that is most in balance with the earth and the moon. And it's associated with the mother phase of life, fertility, nurturing energy, and creation. When the moon is dark at the new moon, for this moon phase, you tend to go inward as you bleed. And when the moon is full, you're at your peak. Here you're ovulating. This is when you're shining your brightest. This is the exact opposite of the red moon phase, where you're bleeding at the full moon. And what this does is that creative energy is going outward and expanding, as opposed to the white moon cycle, where you're going inward at that time. And now if you have a purple moon cycle, this is when you bleed around the waning moon, when the moon is getting smaller. This cycle is often connected with a phase that comes after deep reflection and self-discovery. It can represent the need for rest, the need for quiet, the need for going deeper into inner wisdom. And this is often linked to the enchantress archetype or the wild woman, the alchemist. It's a powerful, spiritual, transformative energy. And it can also be linked to clearing. You may be clearing at that time. And now if you have the pink moon cycle, this is when you bleed around the time of the waxing moon, when the moon is growing in size. This cycle is often associated with self-reflection and discovery too, but in a more forward motion. It's a little more outward. This is a stage of moving towards something bigger and better. It's linked with very maiden-like energy. It's new enthusiasm and mental clarity and ambition and expansion. And I want to be clear that none of these cycles are better than any of the others. They're just very different. Different phases, different things you're going through. They reflect where your energy is flowing at that time and what kind of season you may be in. And this will change over time and throughout the year. But this can give you an idea of how you can best honor your moon time every month, depending on what moon phase that you are aligning with. And now, the fun stuff. Let's talk about some rituals that you can do to honor your moon time. One of my favorites, I made myself a period bracelet, which I'll show you in just a minute. And this is something that I will wear during my period as a simple way just to honor and acknowledge my cycle, while it can also be a signal to close friends and family that I am having my special time. So I'll show you here. So I made mine out of garnet, which has a deep connection to the womb space and blood, obviously. And I attached a cowrie shell here, which is that yoni symbol, a very feminine symbol, and then a little moon charm here. See that? Yeah. And so this can be a really fun activity to do with a group of women or friends in a moon circle, or celebrating first period at a period party. You know, a group of friends can all make their period bracelets. Such a cute idea. And another thing that I like to do when I'm having my period is to do a moon ritual of some kind. And for me, this is sometimes a big crystal grid I do that I dedicate to the moon and to my cycle, or I'll do some gentle yoga and dedicate that practice to my cycle, and to often clearing. I like to use this time for clearing through the womb space. And I'll also do meditation outside underneath the moon. And, you know, if you're doing a period bracelet or a crystal grid, some crystals that I would recommend you use would be the garnet, would be red jasper, ruby, bloodstone, of course, dragon's bloodstone too, all for that connection to blood and to that root chakra. Carnelian is a good one for the sacral chakra, or the womb space, and pearls, selenite, moonstone, all for that connection to the moon and that feminine energy. And I'll also use different colors of moonstone for different moon phases. Like, I like to use black moonstone for the dark moon, the cream or white moonstone for new moon, rainbow moonstone for the full moon, and then maybe peach moonstone or the other colors of moonstone for the waxing and the waning phases. And I'm also big on ritual baths. A bath is a great way to honor your cycle. Immersing yourself in water in general is a great way to honor the womb space and that feminine energy. Some herbs that I might like to use in a bath ritual for honoring my cycle and feminine energy would be rose, jasmine, anything red really, or that feels strongly feminine to me, mugwort for its feminine intuitive abilities, and bay leaves, which have that yoni shape. Making a special tea blend can also be a really nice way to honor your cycle. For this, I like to use red raspberry leaf, which has that womb connection. It's really good for that time of the month. Hibiscus for that blood symbolism, and cinnamon and ginger for that fiery warmth. And another thing I've done in the past is to wear red while I'm menstruating, or also very feminine flowy shapes, floral patterns, things like that. And wearing symbols like the cowrie shells, the moons, flowers, a spiral symbol, or the downward pointed triangle, the sacral or the root chakra symbols, stuff like that. And now, something that I really haven't done enough, but I really want to start doing is to have a symbolic meal as a way of celebrating the feminine cycle. And this can be, like I mentioned before, with red foods and drinks, red wine, hibiscus tea, cranberry juice, pomegranates, plums, strawberries, as well as juicy red meat full of iron, which is good at that time, and foods that can represent the yoni, figs, papayas, oranges, avocados, persimmons, clams, oysters, and even like edible flowers like rose petals and other sensual foods like dark chocolate and rich cakes and sweets. And another great thing that you can do around this time of your period is working with the sacral and the root chakras. And this can be through meditation or yoga or energy work. And also dedicating your flow to something is something I don't hear talked about a lot. Use its feminine power for manifestation, or use this time of shedding to help you clear unwanted energies through the womb space. And now one more thing I'll mention here, if you're into this kind of thing, is blood rituals. As I mentioned at the beginning of this episode, menstrual blood itself has long been seen as a powerful tool for manifestation. And I won't go too in depth about that here today. I'm planning on doing a Patreon exclusive episode regarding blood rituals at some point. I think that's a little heavy of a topic for here today. But look forward to that if you're into that. And now, let's talk about something practical too, because honoring your cycle is not only spiritual, it is physical as well. And one thing that I strongly recommend is using organic period products as much as possible. A lot of conventional tampons and pads contain synthetic materials and bleach and pesticides and fragrances and deodorants, and these products sit against one of the most absorbent and sensitive parts of the body. Organic products are made from cotton or natural fibers and are free from a lot of those chemical additives. They can be much gentler on sensitive skin and may reduce irritation, itching, rashes, and some people also feel, that peace of mind using organic products because it does reduce long-term exposure to potentially toxic ingredients. And there's also some discussion around how conventional products may contribute to reproductive health issues and cancers over time. Now, beyond period products, there are also other natural ways that you can use to support your cycle and ease discomfort during your period. Herbal remedies, for example, have been used for centuries. Chasteberry, which is also called Vitex, is commonly used to support hormone balance and reduce PMS symptoms. And red raspberry leaf, like I mentioned in my tea blend earlier, is another popular herb used for toning the uterus and easing of cramps. Ginger, also in my tea blend, is also a big one. It's anti-inflammatory and can help with the pain and the cramping and the nausea. And ginger tea in general is I find wonderful during menstruation and can be very, very soothing. Movement too can make a big difference. Even just light exercise like walking, stretching, swimming, yoga can improve circulation and release endorphins, which are natural pain relievers. Gentle yoga poses like child's pose, cat-cow, or reclined butterfly can be especially supportive during your period. And then there's also stress, which can have a huge impact on your comfort during your menstrual cycle. Stress can absolutely worsen your PMS symptoms and menstrual discomfort. So these practices like meditation and mindfulness and deep breathing can help calm the nervous system. Journaling is another powerful tool because emotional changes during PMS can feel really intense, and having that outlet to process what you're feeling can help you move through it with more ease. And heat therapy is another one that's big for me. It's a classic for a reason. Heating pads and water bottles and warm baths can help relax the muscles and reduce cramps significantly. Warm baths with Epsom salts specifically can also be really helpful because magnesium supports muscle relaxation and nervous system regulation. And of course, rest matters. Sleep is essential for hormone balance. When you're not sleeping enough, PMS symptoms can feel amplified and fatigue gets worse and your body has a harder time regulating itself, and Even experimenting with different sleep positions can be helpful. Like laying on your side with your knees kind of drawn up can help ease menstrual cramps. And also another remedy that a lot of women swear by. I personally don't have much experience with this one, but that is castor oil packs. Applying a warm castor oil pack to the lower abdomen is believed to help promote circulation and relieve menstrual cramps. Castor oil itself is known for its anti-inflammatory properties, and it can also support digestion, which is especially helpful because many women during their periods end up having some sort of GI discomfort. It's very common. So when we talk about honoring menstruation, it's not just about spirituality, but it's also about learning how to best support your body in very practical ways during this time of the month. But what's most important to remember is that your period is not a punishment. It is not something shameful. It is something to be honored and celebrated. It is part of an ancient rhythm that women have carried for thousands and thousands of years. It's your connection to the moon. It's your connection to the oceans. It's your connection to the earth. It's your connection to your ancestors. And it's your connection to your intuitive wisdom. And the more you learn to work with your natural cycle instead of fighting it, the more you can reclaim it as something truly sacred. And with that, thank you so much for joining me here today. And as always, if you'd like to book an appointment with me for a reading or a healing session, you could do that on my website, angelarajniganda.com. And if you're looking for a little deeper, more ongoing work, exclusive episodes like the blood ritual episode I'll be doing soon, please join the Shadow Light Tribe over on Patreon. Until then, I'll see you next time. Bye. Thank you for joining me at The Crossroads. Visit me at angelarajniganda.com and connect on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and Pinterest. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. And please join my Patreon for more exclusive content that I don't share anywhere else. Please note that this podcast is for entertainment and informational purposes only and is not professional advice. Remember, there is a time for love and light, and there is a time for raising hell. Until next time, I'll meet you at the crossroads.